Hello, this is the Meta Man with a fascinating insight into a wild change that is happening in your life, in your lifetime. Let's think back to the days before the internet. It wasn't that long ago, maybe 25 years ago. If you wanted to take a short airplane ride, just a short airplane ride, maybe from New York City to Washington, or from Los Angeles to San Francisco, just a short, ordinary ride. People go back and forth every single day. What you had to do back then was make an appointment with a travel agent, drive there, park your car, come in, wait for her to be ready, and then sit and chat that you want to do this, you want to do that, and they listen to you. And then after about an hour, you walk away with 3/4 of an inch of paper and you can make your flight. But nobody does that any longer. Yes, there are some travel agents, but travel agents are doing more personalized stuff like an exotic vacation or something complicated. They usually don't just do Toronto, Ottawa, Miami, Fort Lauderdale. They don't do those short flights any longer because they're just too easy to do online. And many things get changed. Many things get changed, but because they happen over a period of 5 or 10 years, you may not notice it. And I want to tell you one thing, and I mean it more than anything I've ever said. Subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. But there's something going on right now that's going to be shocking, and that is banks. Banks, I don't want to say banks are going away because that might be too scary to you. If I told you 25 years ago the travel agents were going away, you'd say, how am I going to book flights? Because you wouldn't have any idea how that could be possible. Now, why are banks going away? Well, listen carefully. There is a rule in economics which says large profits attracts competitors. Large profits attracts competitors. If you're running a little store and you don't make much money, don't worry, there's not going to be many competitors. But if you're making a fortune and news leaks out, lots of people are going to want to start that business. Well, banks make a fortune. How do I know that? Because if you look in the downtown of not just one or two cities like New York or Chicago, you look in the downtown, not just in American cities, you look in the downtown of any city in the entire world, any city in the entire world, and the tallest buildings right downtown are bank buildings. Those little 50-cent pieces and 10-cent pieces and $8 and $2 to do this or that, they add up. They add up to a fortune. And right now, there's no competitors. You have to go to a bank. You have to have a bank account. You have to be able to write checks. You have to be able to transfer money. And banks are the only way to do that. But now they're not. Banks are being disintermediated. Banks are going to have to step aside to the competitors because there are competitors called DeFi, decentralized finance. A bank is centralized finance. Let's think of a bank, we'll call it ABC Bank in the downtown of your city. And ABC Bank does all the banking functions. And so you have to have a bank account there and you have to have checks printed there. And if you want to send money, you have to actually go there and walk into the bank and have them transfer the money for you. They have basically a monopoly, except that there's other competitor banks. But if you think of banks in total, it's a monopoly, but no longer, because there's a thing called decentralized finance, where instead of one person owning a bank or a group of investors owning a bank, now it's decentralized. And I know it's a strange concept, but if I told you 25 years ago that you don't have to go to a travel agent to get an airline ticket, and in fact, airline tickets aren't made of paper, they're just made of air, you'd say, what are you, crazy? How can that be? But that's exactly what's going to be happening. There are over 400 coins in the coinverse now, in the cryptoverse now, that are doing exactly what banks do. I have a wonderful client, and her name or his name is Crypto Charts. And Crypto Charts played a video of mine, and you can go there right there. And in that video, there's a secret word. And if you use that secret word, I will make a video for you on any topic. And my one dear client, I mean, there's many who've done it, but this particular one, Crypto Charts, said, please make a video on sushi. And I'm not doing it just on sushi. I'm also doing it more generally on DeFi. So let's look into what on earth decentralized finance is by particularly looking at sushi. On your screen now, you can see something that I got from coingecko.com. If you launch coingecko.com and on the top left, you see the word coin, pull down that menu and select categories, and you can see all the different categories. And the 11th category, according to market cap ranking, is called DeFi, or decentralized finance. And you can see on the right-hand side, there are 433 DeFi coins. So let's click on the word on the left, decentralized finance, and open it up in order to see what coins are in it. So Sushi Coin is the 23rd largest DeFi coin in the DeFi sector of the cryptoverse. Now let's go to its website and see what it looks like. You can see on your screen now the very simple home page of Sushi, and it says you can swap, earn, stack yields, lend, borrow, leverage, all in one decentralized, community-driven platform. Community-driven means the community in general owns it and the community governs it. It's not run by one guy or one board of directors or one group of investors. And that's why it's called decentralized. So is there a particular love that I have for sushi? Well, not particularly, but there is a love that I have for DeFi, because this is going to be a gigantic trend over the next 5 or 10 years. There are going to be decentralized banks that spring up, not in physical land, but spring up in the metaverse, spring up in the cryptoverse, and people are going to switch their accounts there, and other people are going to be startled. You mean you don't have a bank that you can walk into? And as that starts happening, as younger people who are familiar with the metaverse and are familiar with crypto, as they start growing up and opening businesses, they're not going to want to go to the big fat physical brick and mortar banks. And so it won't happen overnight. But yes, 5 or 10 years from now, the landscape will be different. And that's why you need to have some DeFi coins in your account. Now, I'm not a financial advisor. As you know, I've said this many times, these videos are for education and entertainment only. But what I will do, I will go down the list of coins in DeFi, and I'll tell you which ones I own. I thought you might enjoy seeing that. So I am launching coingecko.com right now. Here it is, coingecko.com. And now I'm going to click on coins and into categories. And I'm going to go down to number 11, decentralized finance. And there are 433, but CoinGecko gives that to us 100 at a time. So number 1 is Terra Luna. I own Terra Luna. By the way, I'm telling you these just to show you that I'm following my own advice. I won't buy just one DeFi coin because maybe that's the one that won't last. There are 433. The greatest preponderance of probability is that maybe 200 or 300 of those will die over the next 5 or 10 years, and that 1 or 2 will become world famous and everybody will know them. Every single person will know them. So I own the largest one. Number 3, I own Chainlink. Number 20, I own loopring. There it is, loopring. And 25, I own 1inch. And go down a little further. 58, I own Trader Joe. Here it comes. Trader Joe. There it is. Oops, not 58. There it is, 61. When I prepared this presentation earlier today, it was 58. It must have dropped a little bit. And then 77 is S Fund. There it is, S Fund, or seedify.fund. And lastly on this page, 83 is Kyber, Kyber Network Crystal Legacy, KNCL. And then in the next 100, I only own one. Let's go there now. click on next, and it's all the way down at 151. 151, there it is, Acropolis. So that's Terra, Link, Loop, 1inch, Trader Joe, S-Fund, Kyber, and Acro. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I own 8 DeFi coins in the DeFi sector of the cryptoverse. And I can't recommend or tell you what to do because this is entertainment and education only. But I feel that DeFi is going to be a gigantic trend. It's already a huge trend. But when banks start crumbling, when physical mortar banks start closing their doors, or when they open up a DeFi equivalent bank and then their physical bank goes under and the DeFi one is the one that takes off, people are going to start noticing it. But out of respect for Crypto Charts, my wonderful subscriber who asked for this video, I will look at sushi specifically. On your screen right now, you can see the chart of sushi. And the first thing I want you to notice is that it's at the maximum, and it started August 2020, and today is actually February 1st. It says January 31st. I prepared this yesterday. So you can see that it's a year and a half old. And in that time, how's it done? Well, it started its life and shot up a bit and then fell down and then went up and down and up and down. But let's look at it more carefully from the technical analysis point of view. The blue line is the floor. The blue line is the floor, and you can see it's tested the floor way back in January 2021, and then 2 or 3 or 4 times again in July of 2021. And then more recently, like a month ago, it tested the floor and fell through it. And typically when it falls through the floor, it goes down quite a way. What is the next support? Well, the next support is the lower red line, which is way down somewhere around 50 cents. And right now it's at about $4.50. So it could fall from about $4.50 all the way down to 50 cents. So that's one reason why I wouldn't recommend buying it right now. The second thing that leads me to believe that it's not a good buy or good entry right now is that if you look at the red wedge, the horizontal lower line and the sloping downward upper line, the sloping downward upper line tracks the lower highs. Notice the highs are getting lower and lower and lower and lower, but the base of about 50 cents is the same. And so if the price of sushi stays within the wedge, then it's going to be going lower and lower and lower. Not a good sign if you're interested in buying it. But also notice that it's right in the middle of the wedge right now. It's halfway between the top of the wedge and the bottom of the wedge, which means we have no idea if it's going to keep going down or keep going up. I would rather buy it when it's right at the bottom, so I have a strong feeling that it's going to go up. So in summary, do I like DeFi? Absolutely. Do I like sushi? No. Sushi is not one of the coins that I would buy. I already told you I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I already have 8. I don't need a 9th one so desperately as to buy it when it's a bad entry point. So I've given you the fundamental analysis of the DeFi sector, and I've also told you the technical analysis of sushi itself. When you have an opportunity to load up on DeFi coins, I think that might be a really good idea because I think DeFi is going to take over. And now the last words I leave you with are this. You are now way smarter than you were just 10 minutes ago. Thank you. Please click on Meta in order to subscribe to my channel. And please click on this video, which is my most recent video, my previous one. And please click on that video, which Google and YouTube think is the most appropriate if you enjoyed this video.